Just the other day, I was doing some open-minded, unbiased Reddit browsing. In between looking at black people Twitter and Wall Street bets, I paid a visit to our Dota Master Race and happened upon this non-participation cross post from the League of Legends subreddit.
Fuck off, you dog shit company. That is actually comical. So you're telling me there is people whose job, whose full-time, so you guys see me sitting here streaming. So there's people who sit here and do this for a 9 to 5, who only work on balance changes, sitting in an office.
Now don't get me wrong, I love Tyler 1. I think he's charismatic and entertaining, but I think he's wrong here. Well, he's right in that there are probably people at Riot who work 9 to 5 balancing champions for a living, but are they really shit at their jobs? Let's put this in the simplest terms possible. League of Legends is a free-to-play game, and Riot Games is the profit-driven company that develops it. I'm willing to assume that Riot, like any other business, aims to grow and create value for its shareholders. This claim can further be substantiated by the fact that Riot is owned by the publicly traded Chinese super corporation Tencent. But I digress. This was just a roundabout way of indirectly proving what we already know. Riot Games is trying to make money. There's nothing inherently wrong with trying to profit off offering goods and services to paying customers. This cornerstone of capitalism is a widely accepted principle. But when you're the developer of the most popular competitive esport in the world, and your biggest selling point is that the game is free, then things start to get a little messy. If it isn't obvious by now, I've been beating around the bush with one big question. Does spending money on League of Legends give players an unfair advantage? As a Dota 2 fanboy, it's pretty easy for me to jokingly say,
well, duh,
and move on. But I know for a fact there are players of League of Legends that couldn't fathom the idea of their beloved developers intentionally releasing overpowered heroes at increased price points. First and foremost, there are a number of ways we could go about answering this question. For example, do we look at LCS picks and bans, overall win rates, or observe some kind of low skill cutoff? Do we look at the current patch, the last major patch, or the entire lifetime of the game? And what exactly constitutes spending money? Well, I had to pick something, so here's the methodology I went with. I pulled data from what is in my eyes the three most relevant groups. Silver players, which account for 49% of the overall player base, Platinum and higher players, which make up about 9% of the overall player base, and the LCS, which represents not only the highest level of play, but also the most publicized and marketed version of the game. As for how strong individual champions are, I took a couple of different approaches. For my first two categories, also known as actual players, I simply looked at overall ranked win rates for patch 8.3. As for professional play, I instead ranked by pick or ban rate from the current selection of 2018 spring season games. A couple of quick concessions though. I understand these sample sizes are relatively small compared to the overall lifespan of the game, but I wanted to use the most recent data possible as to ensure my results are as on par with Riot's current balancing trends as possible. Additionally, the reason why I went with pick or ban rates rather than straight win rates for the LCS is because champions with a low number of games and a high win rate do not accurately demonstrate pro-level viability. Lastly, in terms of spending money, I chose only to look at full Riot points cost of the champions themselves. While I believe skins play a reasonably significant role in champion pick rate and company profit, they generally don't have a direct impact on win rate. So, without further ado, here are the top 10 champions for each of the aforementioned categories. The numbers below each champion represent how many Riot points the champions cost. In case you don't know, $5 equates to about 650 RP, but that's not really important. The point is more RP means the champions are newer, therefore less likely to already be owned by the players, and worth more money. Now, this is the average cost of these numbers for each category. I think there are a couple of observable trends here. First, it seems like to succeed in the top percent of pubs, you don't need expensive champions any more than you do in a more average skill setting. I suspect this might not be the case if we were to compare, say, Bronze to Challenger, but I don't feel like pulling those numbers together, so I'll let it slide. Secondly, and more interestingly, it seems LCS players definitely value expensive champions more than cheaper ones. My first thought was to make sure this significant discrepancy wasn't due to my choice to use pick and ban rates over win rates, but this didn't help Riot's case at all. Upon a quick subjective look, it seemed like for every cheap game-winning Tristana, there was just as desirable Zacs, Ornns, and Corkis. So yeah, if we were to continue to oversimplify this conclusion, I would make this claim. At the highest level of play, more expensive champions are favored to win games over cheaper champions. So yeah, League of Legends is definitely pay to win.
This is what I like to call my told you so dance. I told you so, 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 I told you so.
Seriously though, before you get your pitchforks and crucify me, let me say that I understand winning and losing games of League is way more complex than simply owning the right champions. I didn't even get into my personal beliefs about how Riot adjusts brand new champions or how the strict role system leads to dramatically reduced champion viability. Plus, the skill differential between competitive and average League players is insane, to the point where you could probably argue this is a comparison between outliers. I just wanted to present my findings in an entertaining way, and to that end, I hope I succeeded. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked what you saw, please like and subscribe. It would mean a whole lot to me. And if you didn't, well, thanks for making it this far into the video anyway. This has been Nathan Brother Bob, and I hope you have a great day.